Hey everybody, it's Brooke with The Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. Today we have a delicious, wonderful appetizer to share with you. It's one of our favorites to do all year long, but we really love it around football season and as well as the holidays. So this will carry you into Christmas, and it's fancy, it's pretty, but it's very simple. Today we're going to be sharing with you our recipe for this easy blackberry, pecan, and brie skillet. Oh, you will not be sorry if you make this one, so stay with us. Okay, our ingredients are pantry staples. They're also very easy to get at your local grocery store. We have about 4 ounces of these beautiful big blackberries. And yes, I know they're better in season in the summer, but you can typically find them most all fall as well. So we also have an 8-ounce wheel of brie, and we're leaving the rind on this guy. So, and trust me, you can eat that rind, and we're going to fix it up just a little bit so that all this good stuff that we're going to add to it really gets down in it and cooks into the brie. Now, it wouldn't be a skillet recipe without our trusty Aunt Peggy's cast iron skillet. So if you don't have a cast iron skillet, that should be on the top of your Christmas list this year. We have a great post over at The Buttered Home to show you how to season and care for it and things like that. So we also add to this some honey, and then we have chopped pecans. You can use pecan halves, whatever you have on hand or whatever is easiest for you to get. Then we're also using some fresh rosemary as well as just regular good old salt and pepper to make this delicious recipe, and it just could not be easier. So the first thing we want to do is we want to prep our wheel of brie, and I take a really sharp knife and I just press it down maybe about 1/4 of an inch the way through. Make sure you don't go all the way through, and we just want to do straight lines across the top of the brie. And you'll see the bottom has where the paper has more paper marks, so the top is typically more smooth, and we just want to easily just press our knife carefully just down into, just to create just a small, you shouldn't be able to pull it apart very much, but it should just accordion just a little. Then we want to take our knife and just carefully cross hatch that, cutting about the same depth all the way across. And if you have trouble, just take your knife and do one side and slide it down the other. But when you're cross hatching like this, be real careful. If you're using, this is one of my Cutco knives, and it's cut me almost as many times as it's cut when I'm cutting. So you're left with this beautiful, just little, and you'll see that I did not cut all the way through, just maybe 1/4 of an inch through. So we've got that good and prepped. So now what we will do is we will brush this side of the brie with about 1/2 of a tablespoon of honey. And I am going to light my fire here over low heat. And I'm just going to brush that honey all the way across the top of that brie. This, we want the top to get browned and caramelized. So this little process right here will help make that happen. So now that I have pretty good heat on here, I'm just going to place it cross-hatched top down in my skillet over that low to medium heat. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and now we're going to prep a few of our other ingredients that we have ready. Now you can use the rosemary whole if you like. I just like to chop it and give it just a real quick run through with a good sharp knife. And what that does is that helps release some of the oils from the rosemary so that you get a little more of the flavor. So your herbs that are fresh are not as strong as the ones that are dried already. So if you're using dried rosemary, you're only gonna wanna use about a teaspoon of dried rosemary. This is about a tablespoon here. So I've got that good and ready to go. I'm gonna get my spatula ready. And what we'll do is we'll just let this cook just a minute more, just 1 or 2 minutes on that low to medium heat until it just starts that browning process. Now, if it starts bubbling excessively out of the sides before it gets too brown, just go ahead and take it up. But because we're really just trying to melt things and get things started. So I'm just gonna set him to the side. So now, to the same skillet that is got the heat still going, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of oil. I like using avocado oil because it's tasteless, it's flavorless, and it can withstand higher heat, so it works pretty well. So we're gonna get that heated up and get that pan good and coated all the way around. And now we're gonna put in the other half tablespoon of our honey. So we're using just a total of, ooh, and it came out kind of fast. We're using just about a tablespoon of honey, and I'm just gonna get that moving around with that oil so that it can get heated up. Now we have a cup of chopped pecans. And I'm gonna go ahead and add those in and pick up that honey to get them all nice and coated. And then we have about 4 ounces of washed blackberries that I'm also going to add in and just fold in with those nuts and the honey and the oil. Okay, so now we're gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, equal parts here. And then all that rosemary that I just prepped up. And give it a nice stir. Oh, and that smells wonderful. The black pepper, actually having that much in here, it helps it kind of balance out. So now I'm going to turn off my heat and clear a little space in the middle and just put my brie in there, cooked side up, and then move everything kind of back around so that it hugs that brie. And then this will go into the oven at 350 for about 10 to 15 minutes, just until it gets all nice and bubbly and brown. You can, if you wanted to get it more brown on top, you can turn the broiler on for just a minute and just stay with it and get it a little more brown. But we're gonna give this a cook and then we'll be back and we'll show you the finished product, so stay with us. Okay, everybody, we are back. We finished about a 10-15 minute cook time, and I have been baking bread, so I had my my oven rack was lower than it should have been, so I turned my broiler on for just a minute and stood there and watched it and browned the top up all nice, and you can do the same if need be. So let's take a look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It did weep a little bit on the side, but hey, that's just extra cheese. So you can do this and leave it in the skillet and serve it just like this. So it's really hot. So I'm going to just take a spoonful of that and get some of the cheese and the blackberry and the pecans. And then we'll give it a taste. All right. So delicious. Those pecans are roasted and slightly sweet. There's not too much salt, not too much honey. Everything works together to complement that brie. So brie has kind of a muted, almost like kind kind of sour taste to it. I don't want to say sour because it's not unpleasant, but it does have kind of a strong earthy taste to it. So the blackberries, the honey, and the pecans work well with that, as well as the rosemary to sweeten it and accentuate that earthy flavor. Cheese and sweet things. So this is almost like a charcuterie board all on its own. And it's fantastic to have as a centerpiece for a charcuterie board too. This recipe, just like all of our others, can be found over at thebutteredhome.com. We would really appreciate a visit to our website. We work real hard on that. And there's tons of free recipes that you can find there and have a nice free printable recipe card. Also, make sure you're following us on all of our social channels. We have a real good time. You never know where we're going to pop into your feed. So be sure to head over to Instagram and Facebook and type in The Buttered Home and you can find us there. If you would like all of our videos in one convenient place, make sure that you're subscribed to our channel over on YouTube and ding the bell so that you can be notified when we drop new videos like this one. Y'all, this is a fantastic recipe. It's a little fancy, but you'll look good when you make it, but there's hardly any work to it at all. We hope that you'll try it and love it as much as we do. From all of us here at The Buttered Home to your home, we sure love y'all. Bye.